Morning, folks. Morning, everyone. Running a couple minutes late here, so let's get through it all nice and quick. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. You were able to relax, recoup, recover, and can trade effectively today. All right, let's just review the back end of last week so we will understand where we are. Rejection above daily Bollinger Bands. Mean reversion to 20-day on the gap down. Puke from the gap down to lower Bollinger Band. Finding a bid on the lower Bollinger Band. All right, so we've gone from 2 standard deviations higher, neutral, 2 standard deviations lower in the space of 24 hours. All right, a very, very quick move. So we expected a bounce, didn't we? Because we shouldn't be extending beyond these, same way as that. We need to let time come and help open these up. So what we're looking at the moment, we can see the 5-day and the 20-day aggressively now. The 5-day is trying to cross that 20-day. If we get that, all right, and we get stuck up here and we produce a daily lower high, whether that be today or tomorrow, if we produce a daily lower high, we're going to be looking for at least a retest of these lows. A failure of that point, and we're going to be looking for a trend down to come into higher time frame RBS zones. All right, so I'd love to see something like this play out this week or next week. However, we have to be reasonable with what's in front of us. That was a big move. If we want to create an inside bar for a day, because these are big bars, if we want to create an inside bar for a day or two, we can easily do so, right? We can easily just go inside in this session. The other thing you need to be aware of is we're trading into the gap, all right? We're protecting it so far. This is your gap down. All right, so New York Open Friday is about here, and I'm going to show you that now as we go into the hourly charts. Let's just move over for you. Why is my camera just completely gone mental here? Hang on, folks. Don't know what happened there. There we go. All right, so let's focus on this one down here first, hourly. You can see I've put an anchor view up off the old all-time high. Okay, for this effectively to see where sellers will maintain control. So right now I'm looking at sort of the 214s. We have this wick high here at 216s. If we dig into this, 9, 10, we'll have to do it on the 30-minute. Where is the open? Right, this level here that we're trading right into now, this is your New York Open from Friday. 23.90 basically, 23.87. We're tapping into it. Above that, all right, this is your gap. Right, you can see it. There's London. There's Asia. This is the gap down Thursday to Friday. If we start getting in here, remember this is thin volume. So I'm only really interested in 2 things here. Either we protect this gap, all right, sellers step in, maybe they let it peek through a tiny bit, but they protect the gap and look for a rotation back down towards one of these levels here. All right, and if we're going to take that short, all right, because overnight we've been long, you can see higher low, potential higher low. If they offer that short and we get a lower high, we're going to take partials into these points here, all right, because we know the daily Bollinger is down here. We cannot guarantee that we puke out any further. So we will take partials if it sets up, and we'll hold runners if it wants to come down. I'm also very aware if it comes down here, sets a double bottom, starts doing this, I'm going to look for a long back into the gap. All right, because I know this is an inside bar. All right, all of this is just inside. So we can have choppy rotation action. We've drifted down, we might drift up, we might push, we might fail, we might grab a bounce, we might come back up, we might fail. We might do that for a session or two. Because last week was very, very big, Thursday and Friday. All right, so that's what I'm watching here. I'm seeing if we're going to push up into the gap, which we're into now. Do we take out this old pivot 168? Do we even drift into anchored view up? Or do we fail before that? If we get through that, I'm watching to see if there's a reaction of previous week value area high. If we fail at the open, right, if we don't push into this gap and we protect at the open, we give an instant flush down. Maybe there's a short there, but what I'm more interested to see is, are we going to protect either here or here, all right, for a rotation back up to the gap? Failing under this will be a breakout retest to go lower. That's probably my least favorite trade today, is down here, because we're giving away position for a short at that point. I'd much rather be long down here off previous day value area, or be short for the gap, or if they really want to fill it and be short for the previous week value area low. Okay, hopefully that makes sense to you all. Let's have a look up here. You can see, right, so starting to recover. This move here, Friday, the break of new lows. We're protecting that on the open. Sunday open, never got beneath that, and there's your grind and 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 grind. Right, these are all these shorts starting to get taken out of the market. They are starting to get taken out of the market. So we're approaching some key areas up here. All right, so we're watching to see if we react up there. If we go full reclaim and we're into that gap, remember it's thin, we might trade all the way up here. I don't know. I don't want to, from a technical standpoint, and although we've been selling, all right, from a technical standpoint, until we put in a lower high and lower low on a daily, I want to be very cautious about thinking about this, trading lower prices at all, because from a daily standpoint, all we've really done is, wash out all those longs who chase the market up. We can find a bid here and go back to highs if it really wants. It wants to be extra nasty. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but we have to be aware of the possibilities in the market. Let's have a quick look at the mag here. Let's move this to a 5-minute. Okay, Apple. Extended, there we go. Apple gapping up slightly. I'm going to see if it can break out of 204s, 204.50s, and does it backtest here in 207s and fail would be the question. Amazon gapping up but trading sideways inside previous day's range like we talk about. There's your high, there's your low, inside bar. Amazon, very much like the Qs. Goog gapping up, tapping into old highs. If it can get through there and base, it's got a shot at slingshot back up. Meta, nice gap up. All right. Remember, Meta had blowout earnings and gave the whole thing back because the market was weak, but it had blowout earnings. There's your gap up. Any hold over here, we can create a shoulder here and go back to highs if it wants. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to be too bearish on this market. Microsoft, gapping up as well. Long way to go to recover that whole session though. Nvidia. So interesting chart that. I'd say buyers are trapped above here right now. So any push that fails in front of 80s is probably a sell unless they do a full reclaim. Tesla, protection under 300s like we keep talking about. That's your over under level and it's been that way all year. All right. That's your over under level. If they start to hold this now into 10s or 9s, they can try and slingshot. Otherwise, you've got supply up here. Any failure into 18, which has been your other level, 320s, 318s, you can see over and over again. Hold, hold, push, hold, 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 fail. Same thing. If they push in and fail there, maybe we get further sell. One thing I do want to talk about, which I'm watching today, is the Qs. Right, if we put this on, if you're struggling to see the gaps, remember there's lots of free videos on this. You can see we're trading into the QQQ gap right now. All right, so there's no structure in here. This is your pre-market. We're in there. Same story on the spiders. We're in there. All right, so I'm interested here if the spiders react at sort of 626.35 or if they feel the need to do that gap fill up to 31. So that's basically the same thing on ES. Are we going to come all the way up here? All right, does it have the power to get all the way up there right now? So I am, very, very aware of what's going on the cash playing charts right now. It's important. It is important. If you want to see my levels, make sure you can see them. All right, you can see previous days and previous week value areas all marked out. If you want to take note of those, now is the time to do it. We have 3 or 4 minutes left till the open. So I'm looking for either pushes that fail, either protecting the gap or partial into the gap. And where we see like a rollover, I'm happy to get short. Or if we flush this morning and we find bids on any structure that we've put in between Friday and today, like 944s, somewhere around there, then I will consider the long if it proves itself. We're going to need like an inverse head and shoulder or double bottom or something like that. But I'm not going to rule it out because I know we've done a big, big move. Let's make this a bit bigger so it's a bit cleaner for you all to see. There's so many lines on the chart now. It's annoying. I want to move out of all this range sooner rather than later. Let's see who's in here. Morning, John, Coop, Miguel, John W, Ken, Thumper, Jesse, Toby, Jeff, Ramus, ERF, Leron, Clint, Marek, Raphael, Christy, Aga, Richard, Sergio, Bay Trader, Brandon, Dre. George, is the high time frame trend downside? Depends what you're looking at. The daily technically needs to set a lower high. Yes, we've broken structure, but we haven't set that lower high yet on the daily. So potentially, yes, we're setting up for that. So we'll be looking to see if the daily wants to pivot. Weeklies and stuff are all very bullish still. Bart, Tibor, My Knight, or My K-Light. Sorry if I've said that wrong. Larry, Silem, Myron, Andrew, Aaron, Calypso. Good morning, everyone. Just a warning today, I'll only be on for like an hour or 90 minutes. After that, I will be on Benzinga TV. I'll post the link in a second. You can join me there from 11 o'clock today if you want to continue to trade with me, or not sure, whatever they're going to ask me about trading in the markets. But I'll be over on Benzinga from 11 o'clock. Let me get this link up and I can post it in for you. Pin that. All right. Let's see what we get here this morning then. Buyers in control for now, but we're coming up to these high time frame levels soon. Here's the open, folks. There's the morning drive. All of the market gapping up. Mag look very, very strong. High time frame algo just above. And then that pivot up there at 170s. Watch your ATR again this morning, as we talked about. Volatility very high at the moment. So one thing we didn't talk about actually was the VIX, right? VIX is gapped down and is trying to hold 19s at the moment. Liquidity on the book, not a whole lot right now. 23,700 lot down there this morning. Will they come and test that? Let's get the anchor on from this morning. All right. Watching this New York Open, see if they let go of this. If they do, then we might come further down here on a retrace. Here we go. So letting go of New York Open for now. Let's see what they want to do with this. Are they going to just absorb? Tape starting to move up to support at 2380 right now. If they absorb that New York Open, then we're going to trade probably up to try and take this liquidity out up here, which is that hourly spike that we had on the Friday pre-market. All right, so just interested how we act. We're starting to come into supply now. You can see this red block. It is a big, big red block. All right, but we're starting to come into it, and we have the gap up here, remember. So SPY trading into, or tapping into the lower side of the gap. Same story with the Qs right now. VIX gapping down 18.15 now, so big flush at the open. Let it calm down. Let the volatility calm down. Big drive up here on ES as well. So the question is, how far up can they take this market before sellers want to step in? Remember, we've been very steep and grindy overnight. Just grind all the way back up. Let's get the stream up so I can see you all. There we go. I missed some of you here. Sorry. Morning, Calypso, Owen, Firewater, Paul. Morning, everyone. Do you all have a good weekend? Hopefully you all had a good weekend. Mine was a bit highly stressed, to be honest. Got lots of business stuff, not being as smooth as I'd like. Trying to move servers at the moment is becoming a bit of a nightmare, and some other stuff which I'll get into once I settle on some things over the next week or two. All right, so still holding. Buying pressure coming in here. Mag looking good. As a whole, Mag 1.4% up on average. So Tesla 1.56, Nvidia just under 0.82% now. Microsoft 1.21%, Meta 1.93%, Google 1.19%, Amazon 0.27% up, and Apple 1.63% up. All right, so the Mag up as a whole. The question is there supply up here where we've marked out? Do they want to come and take out this wick high all the way up here? Do they want to trade into that anchor view up? They can do all those things if they want to. We're just in a daily bar. That's all we're in right now. We're in inside previous day bar. So it can be tricky when we're like this because we're waiting for the market, if it wants to set a lower high. Once we set a lower high and we have a lower time frame shift, we can think about potentially the higher time frame wanting to move into a sell. Now, ideally, those who trade with me will know that would happen tomorrow or Wednesday, right? So we need to be aware of rotation today. We definitely got overexcited on the daily when we hit that lower Bollinger Band. That is a big, big move. Remember, the 20 days up at 210, and the 5-day probably just a little bit above that at 265, and you've got the anchor view up split in the two. All right, so you've got sort of 20-day, 5-day anchor view up. We know this is basically what we're about to do now is a 2 standard deviation move. If we think about it, we're bouncing off the low on the daily Bollinger Band. We're coming back to back test the 20-day. That is a 2 standard deviation move. The ATR right now on volatility is very, very, very high. Maybe we're coming for this hourly wick like we talked about. Big drive here this morning. There's your higher time frame algo. Wick not too far above at this point. High time frame algo here. H1 liquidity here. QQQ hitting its 20-day. SPY's got a bit further to go if it wants to hit its 20-day. Yeah, it's been vertical. You're right, George. The shorts are stuck right now. Probably all those short. Think about the shorts. If you're short Friday as a swing short, you're waking up thinking, "Oh God, what have I done?" You know. So there is supply up here. You could see that they just hurried in there, but they're trying to absorb the bid. You look at bookmap above me, there's a 61, not just tried to absorb the bid. There was some sell pressure coming in here. 65, 70s, and 90s next. Let's just check on ES. Oh, it's a stacked book. That is a stacked book. SPY almost at its 20-day. Basically that H628.25, 26, somewhere around there where we've got an old high. That's basically your 20-day. So that'd be, again, the same thing. Mean reversion to 20-day. And how we operate once we get there will be important. See, they're trying to go and fill up towards 75 right now, which will be taking out that H1 high. This red line on your chart is just an old H1 high. That's all it is. And we're about to take it out. And then we have an imbalance above that, and old wicks at 231s as the lows. So it's starting to get interesting here. How high can they get? Can they get into the anchor? You're only 8 minutes into the day here, folks. Just remember. Yeah, if you were long pre-market, it probably looked pretty good. Like if you were long in London and Asia, you know, any of these down here, very cheap longs. Even this here, very nice, supporting an RBS. But at this point, we're in supply. I don't want to be long in supply. It's our first test. If it keeps squeezing higher, that's fine. It can keep squeezing higher without me. No problem at all. We're extended from these flow zones now as well. Think about how far away, oh, sorry, putting that down. How far away we are from these flow zones. We've just taken that H1 liquidity, that red line. All right, that was an old H1 high. And if that was its job to just sweep everyone out, tap into that imbalance, we can get a deeper pullback. So let's just wait and see now what they're going to do. So why I had it marked. I'm starting to see them fail after taking that out. Still very early. But I'd say now if they push up into 60s and find sellers, these buyers might be in trouble. But let's just see. 60s, yeah. If they push up into the low 60s and find sellers, the buyers will be in trouble. Otherwise, they can keep squeezing higher if shorts have come in there and not got what they wanted. Here's the push into the 60s. Do buyers have follow through here? They're stacking the bid underneath 55s. This is going to be a battle here because there's a chance for sellers to take control here. And if they lose, they're going to get squeezed out a leg up. Big, big battle. And there you go. So sellers defending the 60s like I just talked about. And do they want to flush this at this point? Sellers trying to take control here. If they do, we have a lack of structure off that morning drive. It's possible if it's not set yet. If sellers can take control, we can move back to basically 20. So there's a 40-point drop here on structure. SPY not quite at its 20-day. It's almost there. It hasn't done the same move yet. You're looking for spiders really to take out 628, 24. So one thing I'd be worried about, it hasn't taken out the wick that we were looking at. This is what we were looking at, this red line. Now, do me a favor, folks, smash that like button nice and early for me. If you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. If you didn't watch at the weekend, I did you a little video on how to track the mag very, very quickly with one ticker. Worth checking out. And I've got a new video on everything you need to know about Apex dropping on Wednesday. So all about Apex, all the rules that maybe you don't understand, which accounts to use, how to get them passed, how to grow them, and start getting payouts with proof of some of the payouts I've been taking every month this year. So hopefully that will help some of you guys scale, because there's so much nonsense out there. But really, all it comes down to is, can you trade one setup and start to scale your accounts once you know you've got one setup working really well for you. You can see on the book, we are not filling those 70s yet. I've started lifting some of it. Are they moving it up? Let me just have a look. No. Ay. And if we get to the 5-day today, it'd be insane. But very, very possible right now, watching what's happening. We're about to claim back all of Thursday at the moment. We're coming into, just think about the daily charts, what we're coming into right now. I don't have a 90% discount, unfortunately, Peter. It's 80 at the moment. 80%. Maybe they'll give me some more free accounts to give away, though, which I'm sure they will. We can do giveaways every week with Apex on here. But you guys have got to help me grow the channel. The more people we get watching this, ever since I took that vacation, it's we're about half the viewers. So we need to get the channel growing again. So if you guys can help me grow the channel, we can do more giveaways. That's the deal with Apex and the other firms as well. All right, coming into the 200s then, anchored VWAP off the all-time highs up here. All right, mean reversion starting to take place here. We are into 20-day, pretty much. Yeah, we're on 20-day on the NQ. QQQ is already through it. SPY is approaching it again. I'm watching that pre-market wick from Friday on SPY, 628.25. I'm watching the cash market here. Still got room to trade all the way up here if we want. You've got 1 minute left until your opening range is set as well, folks. Have you done coffee? Yeah. Yeah, no, I need one. Thanks, love. See that liquidity on the book above, 23,200 wants to be filled. We just hit the high time frame algo on the ES as well. So we are starting to complete some mean reversions. The next ES can trade up to 43.25. At 43.25, right? 6,343.25 all the way up to 53. We have the 20-day supply and the 5-day. All right. So if ES wants to trade up there to backtest, it can. If we want to go to this anchor view up, which we look like we want to right now, we will. So we're trading right into that gap. I don't know if we do a full gap fill here on the market or if we're just going to do like 50% and find a failure. So these are kind of starting to get to areas where I'm interested to see if the market wants to fail. But you can't get front side. I talked about it pre-market, talked about it in Discord. Do not get front side on the short, looking for the short to play out because there's no guarantee. There is no guarantee. But the higher the better, really, when we're talking about a lower high to be set. What's that done in pre-market? Be careful. All this action we're drifting through is London and Asia. It's very thin on volume from Friday morning, Thursday night. Okay, coming into that anchor view up. This is average price of sellers since the all-time high, folks. All right, average price of sellers since the all-time high. Opening range now set. We're coming to back test that opening range at the moment. If they let go of this opening range, we can maybe trade back inside the opening range, maybe down to view up. If they hold opening range, we can continue squeezing. Maybe we go previous week value area low. I don't know, but shorts from Friday session are in trouble right now. Clearly, at the moment, the market thinks that move from Friday was overextended, which I would agree. A 4 sigma move is ridiculous in 24 hours. Very, very rare that we move from a top bowl to a lower bowl in 2 trading sessions. And the squeeze continues here. Oof, I would not want to be a swing short in this from Friday right now. Even the VIX now trading 18s. Crazy. Looking at the news for the week. CPI tomorrow would be big. Wednesday PPI. No, that's not tomorrow. That's next week. Hang on. Oh, thank you. Come on, Market Watch. Where are you? Great, my Market Watch is stuck. Here we go. PMI, that's it. So Tuesday and Thursday, the days this week, I would say. Let it extend, yeah. I mean, it is extending. You can see the battle around the anchor VWAP right now. If it wants to come up here, though, it can. If it wants to do full gap fill, it can. It all depends how many shorts are caught offside. But, you know, this is the average price of sellers from the all-time high. This is actually pretty key if they're going to sort of take control. Doesn't look like they're taking much control right now. Vic's trying to find a bid here underneath that old pivot of 1850. A big flush down on VIX this morning. Are sellers going to come in? Do they protect the opening range? Your opening range is pretty big today, like well over 100 points. The book is not one-sided either. Look, this is a bit like last week. I hate seeing the book like this. This is when I know it's just going to be games on the book, both sides, and they're just doing this nonsense, both sides. This is an algo. This is not a real provider. So we'll see if we respect him, because that is just a liquidity provider right there. See if he pulls it when we get close. Would not surprise me in the slightest. There you go. Pulled. Knew it. I knew it. It's because he's just a liquidity provider. It's dirty. It's what I mean, but I don't like when I see the tape like this. It's dirty games. You just learn to see it when you hear long enough and you see this. You just know it's games. It's nonsense. It's to encourage people to take trades in bad locations. Imagine the amount of people bidding off that now. What if they slice through it? Mag's still all green, by the way. Very, very strong. So probably stay with you for another half an hour or so, folks, and then I'm switching over to Benzinga. I invited to come and trade over there today or talk about my trading. Okay, watching this opening range now. Like we said, we're stuck at the anchored VWAP. There is a chance that the sellers will want to take control up here. You are still early in the trade, but you know, this is an interesting location. Still protecting that opening range for now as well. That opening range, 200 still being protected. If they start failing under there, we can do a deeper rotation in this market. So anchor view up, coming up pretty clutch there. What are you saying here, Raf? Sorry. Alex, this one got FOMO most of the time. They want to get it closer and then pull it. Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what they want to do. That's why they put that huge bid on 200, because they wanted everyone to bid up there, and then they just pulled the order, which is what I was saying. It's always games on the tape. Watching this opening range now. Are they going to let go of the opening range or not? SPY hit its 20-day as well, folks. So SPY has hit its mean reversion. So we've gone from lower bowl. Well, we've gone from upper bowl to lower bowl, from lower bowl to 20-day. Do we reject 20-day or not now? I guess is the question. Mag all green. Still very, very strong trend in the New York session, aren't we? Anyone who got the newsletter knows this is one of the things I was looking for early in the week, was that push up for a back test of some of these key levels. There are more key levels above. If it wants to come up to previous week value area low, if it wants to check previous day highs or this liquidity here or previous week point of control, it can do so, folks. Can absolutely do so. Do I think it's got the juice to do that? I would find it very unlikely to get up here in one session. But, you know, how many shorts are stuck is the question. There is no sort of daily sell confirmed really until we make a lower high and lower low on a daily. And really, you'd want to see the 5-day and 20-day cross, which they're not far away from doing, right? But we'd need to have maybe an inside day today, maybe tomorrow, and then a sell. And then you're probably going to see the Bollinger Band start to open up and give us room if we truly want to do a downside move to test old all-time highs on a pivot, which would be, again, straight out the newsletter, would be down to sort of 22,875, somewhere around that. So low, high low set again, still holding, still trying to squeeze. So if you're an ARB trader, that was your ARB entry here. And you're up basically 30 points already. Your location is not ideal, right? Your location is not ideal here. Going to get rid of this because we've just sliced through it. And you've got a new hourly bar and 4-hour bar coming in 5 minutes. Still adding liquidity above here. Small lots though, they're not big lots. Let's see, zoom this out a bit. So you can see this morning, since the open, we've offered bids. They were lifting the ask, and then we got stuck here. And someone's tried to absorb this. You can see 55, 54, 50. You might say it's not very big. Those are all traded within like a second. There's big lots getting filled there. Here comes the liquidity provider, pulls it as we get close to him, and now we're drifting back higher again. Bulls remain in control here, lower time frame. Definitely wouldn't want to be a bull up here, though. I would not want to be a bull up here. Aintas long all in 2K up. Oh, you went long up the open or pre-market Aintas? It's a nice trade. Makes sense to come up here and backtest these levels for sure. I'm waiting for a failed breakout somewhere up here. I'm just watching now. Ideally, I want to see like lower highs and lower lows and the flow zones flip. Don't want to trade sideways, so just waiting to see. SPY stuck at its 20-day. Remember, we've got a new H1 coming here very, very soon, and H4. Want to be aware of that. Okay, still holding bids. Short still getting squeezed out. ES looks like it wants its 20-day and that supply block. QQQ almost at the 5-day now. I'm very interested in 23,300. That's where I'm really interested in, because that is sort of a key area of balance, that previous week value area low. It might seem like far away, but it's not that far away. Up here. If we think about that from a fib, what are we looking at? Yeah, and 23,300 will be a 50% retracement as well on all-time high to that low we put in Friday. So it's definitely an area I'm interested in. Nice, George. Yeah, I think you said you were long into the open. It's good. It's good trading. I want to see us test up here. If we're going to hold this level, I want to see us test up towards here. See us get frothy, see if some bulls chase. Okay, here comes the new hourly and H4 candle here, folks. Here we go. I think about what I like to see on hourlies. You can mark this out now. 2350 basically is your green to red, right? If you think about the new hourly and H4, that's your green to red. So all the time they're above that, this hourly or H4 candle is green. As soon as they let go of that, this candle goes red on the session. So I'm looking for an extension up, clean everyone out, which we sort of done, but I wouldn't mind it going a bit further and then see if there's a failure. I'm not going to pick tops though, like I talk about. Still no trade for me yet. Taking it easy. No news Monday on an inside bar. Not an A+ setup scenario for me. Plus, I know I've got to do this interview in an hour. So don't want to be sitting in a trade as we move over into that. Morning, Mike. All right, ES almost at its 20-day, a little bit more. You can see there is a seller on this tape trying to absorb it here into 60s. Max still all green. Microsoft the leader today. QQQ almost at its 5-day. So both the markets almost at 5 days. Both are through mean reversion, through 20-day based on a daily Bollinger Band setup. So spring one way, spring the other way, back to the mean. Maybe finding some level of sensibility soon. We will see. What we don't want to see is us let Thursday buyers out, right? So it's fine to fill the gap or whatever, but if we let Thursday buyers out, I'm less keen on shorts because those buyers need to remain trapped. And if we don't keep those buyers trapped, it'll be a problem. Hey, Bella, how's it going? I got your email. It's going up Wednesday. I'll send you the link. But thank you for everything. Appreciate it. So watching to see, are we going to drift any further? Can we squeeze up and then find a failure? Anywhere from here to sort of value area low from last week. Any squeeze up here that we find failure at, and then I'm looking for a rotation down if it offers it. Definitely getting stuck here a little bit on this H1. can mark this out for you. Basically, where was that hour transition? Here. This is your red to green level on H1 and H4. Okay, so let me just make that nice for you. And we're starting to come to fail it now. All right, this is key. This level here is where this H1 and H4 goes red. Right, and we swept above the previous H1 high, and we're starting to see failure. Now, we haven't shifted flow zones. We haven't necessarily come and tested every level yet. It's just a level of interest. If the sellers start to step in here, look at that last H1 bar. We could easily reprice all the way down to 23 and 80s if it wants to. I would say definitely halfway, and that old wick into 23 170 is possible. All right, so we can definitely do a pullback here on an H1. And maybe down here, if they hold it, maybe we set a higher low and return back in. But I'm considering whether this market wants to do a deeper push first. If we do this move, this is the difference, right? If we don't test up here, if we do, it's going to let me draw it. This move here, okay, then there's probably a short down to there, and then there's probably a long back up. If we go and back test all of this and then fail, then I don't think there'll be a long back up because we've achieved the goal of the back test, and then there's more likely to be more downward pressure. What are we gonna do? See, they're refreshing up here at 60s, but I think we can get through that if they pop it. What's left up above? Not a lot. About ES. This is a problem. ES is, look at all that liquidity above on ES. All the way up to 50s, whole number. Downside to 20s, so boxed in 50s to 20s, 30-point range on ES possible. Back to that over-under level. It's an important level, this, on this H1, H4. Remember, we've squeezed up. We've gone straight up. Not just this session, both sessions. Okay, we gapped up. Asia put us higher. London put us higher. New York put us higher. At some point, there's likely to be a pullback in this market if enough buyers get caught chasing the highs. Very rarely, but it's possible we do a full V-shaped recovery and just never look back, but it's unlikely. to see that level now be tested over under. All right, starting to see this now potentially develop for that drive back down. Think about the H1. Hopefully it's making sense to you while I'm talking about this. For this H1, let me try and get you guys up. I really need another chart now so I can see OBS. But there's your H1. Think about how extended this H1 bar has been. We can easily offer a back test of like this wick here. Right, and if they want to flush all the way down, they can. So hopefully this is making sense to you why that H1, H4 transition became important. Beautiful. So are we going to get any follow through to the downside here? There's a buyer here at 25. Do they protect it, or are we just going to see like a straight sell through it now because we're so extended, which is what we're starting to see. So into flow zones. I've got a feeler on here. I want to see if we can get through this anchor and go in a more aggressive sell. Fantastic. All right. Through those 20s. Beautiful. Lovely. I'm interested if we hold here or not. I'd really like to see a push and a fail now if I'm going to be any more aggressive into here for this move here. And like we talked about, we can think about this sort of high here might become important. In fact, I'll mark this out just in case. All right, we can mark this out just in case. It was a level we were looking at earlier. So absorbing off that old anchor at the moment. I'm going to make that anchor blue because we're above. Well, I'll leave it as red so we can remember. This is the anchor off all-time high. So I've scalped out down to here, just a feeler. Just waiting to see if they come back in and sell this now for a lower high, lower low rotation. If they reclaim it, I'm not interested at all in putting any more on. I'll just take the little partial and stop out on the rest. All right. Price horizontal down. Oh, you mean we go horizontal and then down is what you're thinking? Consolidation and down. It's possible. It's possible. But all I'd say is if it wants to come, it really depends what its mission is today. This was a level of interest. If it wants to come all the way up here, it can. I'm definitely not looking for longs up here. All right. Your long entries were London and for me were London and Asia. Even if we think about those flow zones in London and Asia, right? Even if we think about down here on an hourly, once we started to flip these hourlies, I'd say if you were around at 7 a.m. this morning, even before that, like midnight, but if you were around at 7 a.m., it offered nicer entries off the flow zones to get long for this drive up. I'm definitely not interested in getting long up here. Just not how I play. Like Coop said, like if there's an entry, great. If there's no entry, we can't trade it. Like I was early on here on the scalp, but could see it starting to get stuck. So didn't get a lot of that. What have I got? 30 points. Better than nothing. But it's the hardest trade in the book. What I just did there. Hardest trade in the book. Flow zones are still holding price. We're still above opening range. We are still in a drive. We're trying to make this hourly and H4 go green. Like I said, if it wants to backtest up here, it absolutely can. I'll be on here with you another 20, 30 minutes, folks. Maybe I can do a little bit longer, but I need to just test the camera. Last time we did a test on Benzinga, this camera here didn't work, so I had to use another camera. I have to make sure it all works so we don't have a black screen. Okay, that red to green level, you can see the importance of this blue line. This is your H4, H1 red to green. I'm going to get a refill, and I'm not going to stress out if it moves without me. It's okay. I'll be right back. We'll get back to work then. Yes, John, I will be. Yeah, on their YouTube channel. I pinned it. It's in the pin message. So from 11 o'clock Eastern time, I will be on Benzinga Live. Okay, so it looks like they held, they reclaimed. So there's your little inverse head and shoulders. Again, I don't want to be long up here. I know this is I know this is bullish action. I'm not trying to guess the tops. When we fail, I'll take the fails. I'll scalp. If we go deeper, great. But until that point, I'm not getting long, because if we zoom out, all right, let me just go like 15 minutes, for example. All right, here's your big fail. I'm looking, this is your first bounce because we never bounced last week. I'm looking for a retracement potentially to get short into. And I don't mind having feelers on every now and again, but I'm not sizing into anything. All right, and we can see that 50% is right into previous week value area low, right into a supply block, right into where, remember, from Wednesday and Thursday last week, these are the buyers that are stuck. These buyers have to remain stuck. All right, we need to defend this for this move here, which can then hold. If that wants to hold, that's fine, and we can do that later in the week. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about today's move. They must defend this, sellers. If we start getting through here, you cannot get short because they're going to let all these buyers out, which just means this was a huge mean reversion to be absorbed to go all the way back up. That is a dirty, dirty move. I doubt they do it that in one day because this took 2 days. And this move here took out, what, like 20 plus days? Right? It's nuts, but that's what happened. So that's why I don't want to be long up here. I mean, you can be long. I don't want to be a new money long. I don't want to be opening a new long position up here. I'm not looking short until it gives me signals. Here was a scalp signal down to here. Now I'm waiting. And that showed better on a tick chart than on anything else, to be honest. It still looks bullish. Right, coffee's good today. Good coffee. Good coffee. I did pass a 250k account last week. Finally got one passed. God, they're hard work. They're really hard work. I'm deciding what to do with it. I was thinking of like obviously going bigger size on it, and that's the whole point in having it. But I was wondering if we should do like some kind of challenge on the channel where we do like a spin the wheel and I trade what the wheel says. So something stupid like have to flip contracts for 30 minutes. So can't have to be in a position all the time. These are like drills. So you have to be long. You can't just cover that. You have to get short at some point or something like that for like 30 minutes or an hour, or something like a specific setup only gets trade, or a specific size only gets trade, and we spin the wheel or we vote for it in chat or something like that. So I'm wondering if I do something a bit more fun with it, because it won't be my bread and butter. It definitely won't be my bread and butter kind of mover. Okay, back to that same level. You can still produce a higher low and go higher here if they want, lower time frame. Same level is the level of interest. So trying to do that inverted head and shoulder here is what they're going for. And again, the only reason I'm not taking the long is the location for me. Location's dangerous. If they did this move this morning down here, would have been really nice. Would have taken something like that long off here. So we're breaking out. But we never came back to it. We just rocketed. How long we got? 9 more minutes until your initial balance is set, which at the moment is 175 points. Pretty decent. Coming back to that red to green level on the H1 and H4 again. You can see this level here is important. This level here, if they drift up here, is a major level. Remember, this is previous week value area low. Technically speaking, everything under here has been discount. Everything under here has been discount. That said, if they fail this, then that is saying, hey, we will not accept price back into this range. You need to search for lower, and we will move value area low on the current week down with it, which is why it's a level of interest with supply above it that I'm interested in. And it's a 50% pullback level from the swing high to the swing low. Here's your 50s again. This over under level again. Heavier sell pressure coming in this time, and trying to see if they can test those 35s by the look of it. $309 is also the low from Thursday. Ah, perfect. Thank you, Stephen. Good spot. Good spot. VIX still trading around lower day right now. MAG as a whole, 1.91% up. Amazon's just gone red. Rest of the market's looking good. Strength there in Google now. QQQ stuck at its 5-day. SPY not there yet. If you're wondering why am I looking at the ETFs, because it's easier for me to see the gaps on those ETFs, and I can see where cash is trading, and that's important. So gap fill really, well, if we're going to go to the old lows on the SPY, you're looking for a trade into 630.75. If it's going to do a full closure to settlement 632.10, If you're watching the QQQ, we can trade to the lows of 563. Might as well call it 564. And the full closure would be 565. So that's why I'm watching cash. There is a video for free on my YouTube channel on cash gaps. All right. I'm always interested in the cash player in the market. That for me is what drives the market. So if you go to, there's a section, I'm going to like reorganize all the sections as well. You might have seen I've started to do it. So I've made a section on volume. We're going to have a new section on Apex, another section on prop firms. I'll do another section on like EMA trading. I'm going to like break them down so it's easier to follow on my YouTube. And then I'm thinking at some point this year when I have time, because so one thing I don't have at the moment, which I'd love, we will do like an advanced short course on just futures trading. So like a step above the 20-hour course, we'll do like a short course on futures trading, which will assume you've done one of the other courses and just on my setups that I take and what I'm looking for. And I'll make that available later in the year. Okay, 30 is getting tested here. Like we said, it's a little bit frothy. We're under that H1, H4. If they want to rotate, they absolutely can. This is where we found buyers, like, I don't know how many minutes ago. It's almost half an hour ago now. Crazy. Been stuck up here for a little while. Short course would be good. Yeah, I think it might be really useful for everyone who's done the long one and they're still just struggling to find their setup. So I'm having to like think about how I'm going to set it up. Like, remember on here we've talked about like weightlifting before, and when you're going to go and practice to do like an Olympic clean and heave, you need to break it down into each different part of it. So I kind of want to do that of like what my layup trades are, what I'm looking for, and then how to stack them together. So I've just got to sort of plan it in my head because I've never really seen anyone deliver a course like that before. Like these are the exact setups and how to put them together. So another high low here. All right, no breakdown here. Failed to break a high up here. We've got lots of shorts trapped up here right now. And reclaiming H1, H4. So this is a big battle zone up here. Maybe it wants to drift up here before there's any further failures in the market. What's on the book? 80s. Oh, there we go. We've got a seller up there now. Finally, someone providing some liquidity. So up at 90 now is a seller. This feels like it still wants one more push out of this range. No way am I taking it. That huge order that's just come on at 210. Massive. That's a legit order. Whether he pulls it or not is another thing, but that is not liquidity provider. That is a legit order. Jeez Louise. Big boy games right now. Big boy games. Are they going to come and see if he's real? Yes, has relative strength here. Just keeps drifting higher. Trying to test its 20-day. It's not quite there. SPY's already through it, and it's trying to test its 5-day. 10 more minutes, folks, then I'm going to probably have to get off here to prepare. If we clean this out and then see a failure from here, you might get a nice move later in the morning. If we clean this out and then see some kind of failure there, you might get a nicer move. This is very steep up, starting to see tapering. If we think about this, this has been very steep up, starting to see tapering. If we can clean that out first, that would be an A+. Otherwise, if they fail this, it's still not a bad trade, but it's not necessarily an A+ trade. And it's pretty good. Testing that H1, H4 level again. It's a big old level, that, as is the anchor VWAP, clearly. This blue line and that anchor, clearly important right now. Here's some failing here. Oh, they're going to let this go, or are they just going to absorb this at the low and try and make another higher low? Initial balance now left at the highs. This is an anchor, right? Yeah, good. All right, starting to see major sell pressure here. You can look at the tape. Big buyer at 210, right? Big buyer at 210. Zoom into this 30-minute. You want to see buyers get caught up here is what you want to see. And the best way of doing that is a failed or a breakout higher and then a failure rather than what we're seeing. But we will see. And that buyer pulled. All right. He just went, no. I'm not playing this. I'm out of there. He just left. More games, folks. Spoofing on a tape. This guy's been spoofing all morning by the looks of it. Did he move lower? Or did he just spoof? Complete spoof. Complete leaving. Yeah, same guy. Thanks, Raf. Yeah, same guy. I'd be careful, George, because I would say this low created this high, and this is just internal range right now. So if you're calling this a bear flag or this a bear flag, this can consolidate. If you move up time frames, there's no bear flag there, right? If you move up time frames, it's consolidation, right? This can just produce something inside which catches you. So 30-minute, if they hold this, this is inside action to get a squeeze out. So just be careful calling things like that bear flags. I don't look at that and think, oh, that's a bear flag. I think it's a possible tapering, or not even possible, it's definite tapering for sure and consolidation, but really the short will be like this, or it'll be a failure and then down. In here is consolidation right now. Arguably it's distribution, like arguably this is distribution to go lower, but I would not call anything I'm seeing here a bear flag. A bear flag would need to be a clean break like this, right? I don't see that here. This is what I see here. Internal range, internal range, internal range. Who's to say that isn't a giant bull flag? See what I'm saying? So just be careful. Yeah, that's what I think. Exactly, JD. Bull flag maybe is possible. And Coop's saying too much of a coin flip. Yeah. So I'm not saying it doesn't go down. I'm not saying not to play your entry. I just think just be careful, because it can be really easy, especially in these situations when we're like, hey, this is a big drive up. We're up. I don't know. What's this initial balance on the day? Let's have a little look. We're up 175 on initial balance, and we're probably up a good 100 plus points before that, before we open today. So if we think about gapping up 850, so we're up another sort of 850, 950, 250 points. We're up basically 250, 354. We're up 400, 425 points since the close. All right, so it's easy to go, hey, we're up 425 points. That's enough. We need to rotate. Don't front side. Do not get caught front side in this. All right. Do not get caught front side in this. That's why we're up here. Just think, why are we up here? Right? Anyone who is swing short from Friday, these are their stops. We failed to break down on Sunday. Stop level 1 gone. Back test, hold, demand, right? This is RBS. Stop level 2, back test, held. This became demand. Stop level 3, ripped through. We haven't back tested it to see if it holds yet, right? So all the shorts from Friday's session are currently in a lot of pain right now. All right, they're in a lot of pain. Really important you zoom out and just understand that. We're always looking for who's trapped, right? So what we need now for this session, ideally, is to see a push up, bulls chase, long, 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 long. There's your high time failure, boom, boom, boom. And then we leave bulls trapped at highs where higher time frame shorts want to participate, right? That's the easy trade if it presents itself. Big if, but that's the easy trade if it presents itself. I'm just going to check this email to see what time it wants me on. Does it make sense to draw a 1 minute flag, pennant flag to find where flag going to break out? Seems like 1 minute range is going to get tighter and tighter. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not looking for long, so I'm not, I'm not really interested. Like, I don't want to be, if you're talking about this, I'm not really interested in this move here because I think this is the place where they get trapped. Even though I guess you could argue it could give a 100-point move. I was in the wheat one today. If you're going to look for an extension, I'd just, like, if you're adamant in getting long in here, all right, I'd be thinking about this. Where's your 161? Lines up perfectly with previous week value area low. So if for any reason you're buying these dips or you're trying to play this breakout, again, it's not how I'd play it, but if that's what you're trying to do, then you want to see a clean break through these highs and a squeeze up to here. That's your 161. That's your previous week value area low. That is probably a high probability area right into the 23,000. All right, 2 more minutes or so, folks, and I'm going to have to get off. And then hopefully I see you all over on Benzinga. I think we might do some Apex giveaways there as well. I don't know. I think they do that because they sponsor the show. So you can see refresh sellers coming in here, 55, 60, and then up at 90. Is there much above? Not really much above. Remember, we're in an inside day. We're in a initial balance day and initial balance day as well. All right, IB high, purple line. ES the same, not through that purple line. So there is always a failed breakout and rotation possible back down to VWAP. Like we always talk about, that trade is possible. I really want to see this market move higher and fail before I think about anything else. We've consolidated here for a long period of time now. You can see the longer we're here, the more the VWAP's going to move up, and it's going to give us less range for that reversion trade. Yeah, it's posted. The link's posted in the Discord. If you look at the pinned chat, that's the link. All right, team. I'm going to get off here. Give me like 15 minutes to prepare. At 11, yeah, at 11 o'clock. But we've got to do like camera check and mic check and all that stuff. So I'll see you over there, right? I'll see you over there. Just be careful. So you know, if you're trading here this afternoon, what I'd be looking for, ideally, in an ideal scenario, would be this and then a failure. Otherwise, if you just start to see failures, that's also fine. But this would be A+. Right? That would be A+. Links above, guys. Links pinned to chat. Should be pinned to chat. If you look at my message at the top of your chat right now, it's pinned there. I'll post it in Discord as well, folks, so you have it for those who are in the room. Give me a second. Let's post this in here. All right. Please trade safe as we get into there. Just be careful. Be careful. Don't get caught in a range. Make sure. See money, take money, let runners work. All right. Peace and love. I'll see you there at 11. Otherwise, those who can't join, I'll see you back on here tomorrow morning. And those in Discord, we'll chat after the show on Benzinger as well. All right. Take care. Use hard stops.